After that only he decided to send Sita to the ashram of Valmiki Rishi. So here the he went and disguised amongst his ministers and his own palaces. Amongst his ministers also he was going in disguise. Since he was the master of yoga, he could do that. Though he was omniscient, he wanted to confirm their loyalty. He wanted to understand the intentions of his ministers and the residents of his palaces. Because sometimes the Leela Shakti would appear, causing him to desire to spy, and sometimes would disappear with a desire for pastimes. Narada also went and saw other things, but this is not stated because of fear of too many details. So many things Narada saw, but some things are mentioned. Like somebody asked, 16th did Narada go to 16th of the 108 palaces? Definitely he went to many palaces or all the palaces, but only some details are mentioned. Next to us.
What is mentioned about Leela Shakti? I didn't understand like Leela Shakti.
Leela Shakti. He wanted to understand the intentions of his ministers and residents of his palaces, because sometimes the Leela Shakti would appear and sometimes would disappear with a desire for pastimes. So when the Leela Shakti would appear, Krishna would perform this pastime of acting as a spy to find out the people, what the people are knowing. Sometimes the Leela Shakti would disappear. Krishna, he would not go as a spy. As a Paramatma, he knows what is going on in others' mind. Sometimes he behaves like a human being. Then because of that he develops a desire to go as a spy to find out what the people are thinking.
This is because of
Leela Shakti. अतोवाच ऋषिकेशं नारद प्रहसन्निव योगमायोदयं वीक्ष्य मानुषीमीयुषो गतिम्.
Having thus seen his display of the Lord's Yogamaya, Narada mildly laughed and then addressed Lord Rishikesha, who was adopting the behavior of a human being.
अतः नारदः योगमायोदयं वीक्ष्य प्रहसन् इव ऋषिकेशम् उवाच. When Narada Muni saw this actions of Yogamaya, Narada was astonished. He smiled and then he is speaking to Krishna. Vidama yoga mayaste durdarshapi yogina yogeshwaratman nirbata bhavat padanishevaya.
Narada said, now we understand your mystic potencies, which are difficult to comprehend, even for the great mystics. O Supreme Soul, Master of all mystic power, only by serving your feet I have been able to perceive your powers.
So, yoginam api durdarshaha te yogamayaha manushim gatim iyushaha vayam katam vidam. Hey Yogeshwaratman, bhavat pada nishevaya nirmata. So here Narada is speaking to Krishna, who is adopting the behavior of a human being. Yogamayodayam vikshya manushim iyushogati. Narada is saying that yogamayas tava yogamaya vidama. We understand the power of your yogamaya. Durdarsha api mayinam, which is very difficult to comprehend, even for great yogis. Mayinam api durdarsha. Oh, hey Yogeshwar Atman, Bhavat Pada Nishevaya, by serving your lotus feet, Bhavat Pada Nishevaya Nirbhata, I am able to perceive your powers. Only by serving your feet have I been able to perceive your powers. We see the Yogamaya, Krishna's Achintya Shakti, makes the impossible into possible. Achintya Shakti is also called as Agatana Gatana Shakti. That which is impossible, that is made possible by Achintya Shakti. So, though these powers are hard to see for persons having various mystic siddhis, O Paramatman, Yogeshwaratman, by serving your feet, these powers have appeared by themselves in my mind. And these powers appear in you, arising from your Swarupa. But I know them by service to your feet. You are naturally possessing these powers, but by serving your lotus feet, I have also got these powers. Normally, to understand the power of your Yoga Maya, it is not possible for everyone to see. So we see that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela also. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu refused so many times to give his audience to Prataparudra Maharaj. But when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw the menial service rendered by Prataparudra Maharaj in a very humble disposition, although Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not officially reciprocate with Prataparudra Maharaj, he gave his very special mercy. He gave Prataparudra Maharaj the vision to see how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was simultaneously dancing in all the 7 Kirtan parties. So because Prataparudra Maharaj rendered service to the devotees, rendered service to Jagannath in a very humble disposition, as a result Mahaprabhu gave that mercy. So here Narada Muni is also saying that by serving your lotus feet, we are able to perceive the power of your Yoga Maya. How you are simultaneously present everywhere. The same form. So now, the last few verses we will discuss a little more detail from Bhagavad Sandarbha. Anujani mam deva lokamste yashasapnutan paryatami tavodgayan leela bhuvana pavani.
O Lord, please give me your leave. I will wander about the worlds which are flooded with your fame, love, singing about your pastimes, which purify the universe.
So Narada Muni is asking permission from Krishna. Narada Muni is saying that Deva Mam Anujanihi, please give me permission. Yashasa Apnutan Te Lokan Bhuvana Pavanihi Te Leelaha Udgayan Paryatami. Being immersed in your glories, chanting your glories which purify the entire 3 worlds. I want to wander in this world. Please give me permission to leave. So Narada is asking permission to leave because Narada, Sanatana Goswami says that Narada couldn't tolerate Krishna worshipping other devatas. So he was feeling a little awkward, so therefore he wanted to leave. So Narada says that I will glorify your fame. Narada says this in order to reveal his extreme lack of qualification. You are most worthy of worship. I will wander the worlds flooded with your glories. The word apnuta suggests that Krishna's glories are the greatest tirtha. So Krishna speaks. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Brahman Dharmasya Vaktaham Karta Tadanu Modita Tachishayal Lokamimam Astita Putra Makidaha.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O Brahmana, I am the speaker of religion, its performer and sanctioner. I observe religious principle to teach them to the world, my child, so do not be disturbed.
So Krishna is saying that, O Brahmana, Aham Dharmasya Vakta Karta Tat Anumodita. I am the performer of Dharma and I am the speaker of Dharma and I am the one which sanctions Dharma, Anumodita. So Tat Shikshayan, in order to Tat Shikshayan Imam Lokam Astitaha. So in order to teach the principles of Dharma, I am performing these duties. So please don't be disturbed. Don't be disturbed. Ma Kida. So we see this is an important verse. Since I am the speaker of Dharma, I must perform Dharma. Thus I give joy to others by performing Dharma, Anumodita. If I don't perform Dharma, no one will respect Dharma. Therefore, I teach this Dharma to the people by words, by actions and by mentality, and by his very self he establishes Dharma. There are 64 qualities of Krishna mentioned by Rupa Goswami. I think the 30th quality, 30th or somewhere near, he mentions the Krishna's qualities. Dharmikaha. Dharmikaha. The word Dharmikaha means, according to Panini Vyakarana, forget the which pratyaya, but the meaning is that the particular pratyaya is added in the sense that that person whose innate nature is to perform dharma, such a person is called as dharmika. Like he doesn't perform dharma simply for externally, but he performs dharma with this great interest. His innate nature is to perform dharma. O Brahmana, you know this since you know the Vedas. To please people like you, I protect the path of the Vedas. I remain here for that purpose. Not seeing Narada give up his sadness. It's like Nityananda Prabhu was also unhappy to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu carrying the danda. Nityananda Prabhu broke the danda into 3 pieces and threw that into the river. So Narada is also unhappy to see Krishna performing all these, observing all the rules and regulations. So therefore Krishna is calling out Narada with affection. Oh son, in order to, he is asking, he's saying like that, in order to make him give up his respectful attitude, of which he did not approve, by showing mercy with the proper mood of affection. So we see in this connection, we will just go through the Bhagavad Gita, 3rd chapter, in relation to this. So Bhagavad Gita, 3rd chapter, if you see, what is the summary of the 3rd chapter? So Gita Artha Sangraha, Yamunacharya has written a small book which is 32 shlokas. In that first shloka, he gives a summary of the entire Gita. Next 3 shlokas, he gives a summary of first 6 chapters, middle 6 chapters and last 6 chapters. And the next 18 shlokas, he gives summary of each chapter. And then, so 1 plus 3, 4, 4 plus 8, 22. And then whatever is not covered in In this summary, he covers the remaining shlokas, some additional points, additional 10 shlokas. But Sri Sampradaya, there is some difference in Siddhanta is there. Difference in Siddhanta means, for example, the Sri Sampradaya, Bhakti arises from Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga. In Gaudiya Vaishnava, Bhakti is independent of Karma and Jnana. So there, Siddhanta is that Bhakti arises from Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga. And in Bhakti Yoga, there is understanding that you are a devotee is depending on his own effort. But in Sharanagati is higher path than Bhakti, where a person completely depends on Krishna. There is some difference in Siddhanta is there. But we can still appreciate very profound shlokas. So for the third chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, how the summary is given is that third chapter Krishna speaks about Karma Yoga. So so in the third chapter, I will tell the later the shloka. In the Karma Yoga section, initially Krishna speaks about the two types of adhikaris. Those who are qualified for Karma Yoga, those who are qualified for Jnana Yoga. It begins with the Arjuna's question, and then Krishna speaks starting from Lokesmin Vividha Nishta Pura Prukta Mayanaga Jnana Yogena Sankyana Karma Yogena Yogina. Or there are people with two kinds of adhikar. And then he speaks about how those who are not qualified for Jnana Yoga, they should not perform Jnana Yoga, they should perform Karma Yoga. Karma Indriyani Samyamya Ya Asrimana Sasparan. And then next section Krishna speaks about even if you are qualified for Jnana Yoga, you have to perform Karma Yoga, because even a person who is qualified for Jnana Yoga, he has to eat food, he has to maintain his body, and for that he has to perform karmas. Shariram Sharira Yatra Pichate Na Prasiddhyet Akarmana. Even a person who is qualified for Jnana Yoga, he also has to perform Karma Yoga to maintain his body. And then he speaks about Annat Bhavanti Bhutani, that Eva Pramartitam Chakram. And then he says that only those who are liberated, they don't have to perform karmas. Yastvatma Ratireva Syat Atma Triptasya Manava Atman Yevaja Santusha Tasya Karyam Navidyate. Only those who are liberated, they don't have to perform Karma Yoga. So he is emphasizing about the importance of Karma Yoga. First he emphasizes about from the point of view of the adhikar. If you are not qualified for Jnana Yoga, you should not perform Jnana Yoga, you should perform Karma Yoga. And Karma Yoga is something which every living entity is used to performing karmas since time immemorial. But Jnana Yoga is something simply meditating on the Atma, not performing any activities which we are not used to performing. So Karma Yoga is much easier to perform. And then Krishna says, and also Karma Yoga is superior to Jnana Yoga. Wherever you are left up, even if you leave Karma Yoga, if you incomplete the practice of Karma Yoga, the next life you can immediately start performing Karma Yoga from wherever you are left up. Neka Vikrama Nashosti Pratyavayuna Vidyate. And then he also said, even if you are qualified for Jnana Yoga, you cannot avoid performing Karma Yoga because you have to maintain the body. And then he mentions the emphasis of Karma Yoga from another point of view, from 3.20 to 24. That is from the point of view of Loka Sangra. Especially when a person is in a leadership position. And even if he is qualified for performing Jnana Yoga, even though he is qualified for performing Jnana Yoga, but if he is in a leadership position, he should perform Karma Yoga for the sake of Loka Sangraha. So therefore he says that Karma Naivaki Samsiddhim Astito Janakadayah Loka Sangraham Evapi Sampashyan Kartumarvasi. He gives the example of Janaka Maharaj. Janaka Maharaj is qualified for performing Jnana Yoga, but he would perform all the karmas. He would perform all the karmas. That is why when he was going to perform some yajna, when he was plowing the land, at that time only Sita was born. He got the Sita as a child. So Krishna is taking the example of a king, Janaka, who is a Raja Rishi. So Raja means what? Raja means Agada Vistirna Manasaha. One who has a very broad mind is a Raja. Rishi means Atindriya Artha, one who has faith in the meanings which are beyond the senses. One who has faith in the those aspects of the Shastra, those truths which are beyond the perception of our senses. Such a personality is a Rishi. Raja Rishi is somebody who has both these qualities. So, Janak Maharaj is a Raja, one who had a very broad mind, because although he himself is qualified for performing Jnana Yoga, but he saw that common people are not qualified for performing Jnana Yoga, and they don't have the maturity to understand their qualification, that they are not qualified for Jnana Yoga. So if I perform Jnana Yoga, then they will also start performing Jnana Yoga, seeing me without understanding their own qualification. So therefore, out of compassion for the Loka Sangraha sake, he performed Karma Yoga. And Arjuna is also a very exalted person, because Arjuna, when he went to heaven, he refused the proposal of Urvashi. So Arjuna was considered as a very exalted person in the society. So Krishna is telling to Arjuna, therefore, if you leave Karma Yoga, if you perform Jnana Yoga, then common people will also perform Jnana Yoga. And then they will stop their karmas, and they are not qualified for Jnana. Because of stopping their karmas, they will incur sins. And you will be responsible for their sins, because by seeing you they performed Jnana Yoga. And because you will be responsible for the sins, by that you will also get affected. So therefore, you follow in the footsteps of Janaka Maharaj and perform Karma Yoga. And then Krishna says that Yadyat Acharati Sreshta Tattat Eve Taro Jana Sayat Pramanam Kurute Lokastat Anuvartate. Lokastat Anuvartate. He says that whatever Yadyat Sreshtataha, whatever a venerable person who is famous for his knowledge and conduct practices, the common folk will follow the same karmas. Yet pramanam, pramanam here does not refer to Shastra. Here pramanam means whatever extent, suppose a great person has performed a certain activity, that becomes the standard for the later people to follow. Like for example, suppose there is a marriage is there, different rituals are there. So whatever great people, how they have performed the marriage function, that becomes the standard for the next generation to follow. So yet pramanam, Mahaprabhu said that dharma sthapana hetu sadhura vyavahara. The behavior of a sadhu establishes the standard of dharma. So, and whatever measure or manner the venerable person performs those karmas, the common folks in this world will follow in the same manner. So then Krishna gives himself as an example. Name partasti kartavyam trishlokeshu kinchana nanavaptam avaptavyam varta eva cha karmani. Name partasti kartavyam. He says that for me, when he is saying for me, Ramanuja gives a meaning. For me, who is the Sarveshwara. For me, who is the Avapta Samasta Kama. Me, who is the Sarveshwara, who is the controller of the entire Brahmanda, who is the Avapta Samasta Kama, who has obtained, who has all the possessions, who is the proprietor of everything, who has nothing else to be, who doesn't have any desire to aspiration to attain something. Everything is in possession. Avapta samasta kama. And who is having the Satya Sankalpa Shakti? So Krishna is the controller of everything. And who is Avapta Samasta Kama, who has everything in his possession. And even if he suppose desires to obtain something, he doesn't have to exert only. Because he has a Satya Sankalpa Shakti. Just by his Sankalpa he can obtain. That personality Krishna, Name. So in that May you have to, Ramanuja is highlighting these qualities. For me who is Sarveshwara, who is Avapta Samasta Kama, Satya Sankalpa, there does not exist any karma which is ought to be done. Na asti kinchana kartavyam. Trishu lokeshu. Trishu lokeshu means within the Bhurloka, Bhuvarloka and Swarloka. In all the three lokas, I don't have anything to, any duty to perform. Or Trishu lokeshu can mean Bhumandalam and all the 7 lower planets and the planets above the Bhumandala. Or Trishilokeshu can mean 3 types of births. Deva, Manushya or the animal. Whether I appear as an incarnation among the Devatas or among the human beings or as an animal, I don't have any duty to perform. And why is there no duty to perform? Na avaptam kartavyam. There is no vastu which has to be attained by me. Because I am avapta samasta kama. But still, karmani varte eva. But still, I keep performing my duties. I keep performing the karmas. There is neither the reason nor prayojana for Bhagavan. There is neither a reason nor a prayojana to achieve something. Usually we perform an activity because of some reason or because of certain prayojana. But still Bhagavan keeps performing these karmas out of his mercy only. Out of his mercy. Because for a great person to come down to the lower platform for the sake of the common people, that is the greatness actually. To be situated in his own level, that is not so much this one, but to come down to the lower level, that is the quality of saulabhyata. So Krishna performs these karmas. And then Krishna says that yadi hyayam na varteyam jatu karman yatandritaha mama vartmanu vartante manushya partha sarvasha. If I, who is the Sarveshwaran, if at all times without being negligent or lazy, if I do not remain established in the performance of the karmas, then the common people will definitely follow my path. So you see, yadi ayam na varteyam jatu karman atandrityam. Yadi na varteyam, here Krishna is using a hypothetical usage. If I do not perform my karmas, and then the next line he says that Manushya anuvartante, he says. There he is not using the hypothetical usage. People will follow me and then they will also stop performing the karmas. He is not saying that if I do not perform my karmas, people also may give up the karmas. He is not saying like that. He is telling people will follow me and then they will give up the karma. It's like saying that suppose if there is a rain tomorrow, probably there may not be a match. There may not be a cricket match. So that's like both this one you are using hypothetical usage. But here Krishna, one place he is using hypothetical usage. If I do not perform the karmas, then but people will stop performing the karmas. Manushya anuvartante, they will follow me and they will also stop performing the karmas. So mama vartma sarvashaka, therefore I perform the karmas. So we see that Krishna, it is Krishna's eternal vrata. Krishna's eternal statement in whichever incarnation he takes. Whether he takes an incarnation as a Deva, as a Manushya, whichever incarnation he takes, he performs the karmas, although he has nothing to do, he has nothing to achieve. And even as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, he followed this statement. There are many examples we can give. Mahaprabhu, Ramananda Rai conversation, he said, when Ramananda Rai quoted the shloka Varnashrama Charavata Purushena Parapuman, Mahaprabhu said, Eho Bhagya, this is external. When he said external, from what point of view he made? He said that because the whole conversation started with what question? What is the sadhya and what is the sadhana? What is the goal of life and what is the sadhana to achieve that? So from that point of view, Mahaprabhu said Varnashrama is external. He rejected that answer. Because Varnashrama is neither the sadhya nor is it the sadhana. Sadhya is Krishna Prema. Sadhana is the path of bhakti, Vaidhi sadhana bhakti and Ragananda sadhana bhakti. So Mahaprabhu did not accept Varnashram from sadhana and sadhya point of view, but Mahaprabhu did not reject Varnashram from the lifestyle point of view. There are so many instances of Mahaprabhu also. Mahaprabhu getting married for the second time. He knew that he would take sannyas after 4 years. But still he got married a second time. Like at that time, to leave behind a girl at the age of 16 years. Mahaprabhu took sannyas at that time. Vishnu Priya was 16 years. No? So what she must be going through actually. There is no other means of independence. But still, because Mahaprabhu wanted to respect the Varnashram system, although he knew that he would take sannyas after 4 years, he still got married second time. Because there is staying at home means staying with a wife. Mahaprabhu, why he refused repeatedly not to meet Sarvam Bhattacharya? Because he wanted to follow the sannyasa dharma. The sannyasi, one is not supposed to. The 10th canto, 10th chapter, Narada tells, just before cursing Nalakvar Manigiri, Narada says that the greatest blessing for a poor person is that the greatest blessing of a poor person is that they will get the association of the sadhus. Because the sadhus, although they see everyone equally, but they are easily available to the poor than to the rich. And then he curses them. So as a sannyasi, he is supposed to see everyone equally, but although he sees equally, he will not be easily available to the rich. Rather, he will be easily available to the common rank and file person. So Mahaprabhu wanted to follow that. Jagadananda Pandit from Jagannath Puri with personally worked hard and made that fragrant oil and carried that oil from Bengal to Puri. And then he offered to Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu said, I cannot accept this oil actually. Yeah, we say the primary reason for Krishna's appearance is to reciprocate with the pure devotees. Jagadananda Pandit is a pure devotee, but Mahaprabhu did not accept the reciprocation. So as a sannyasi, how can I accept this fragrant oil? Jagadananda Pandit broke that pot actually. We see in Jagannath Puri that small beautiful place, and then he started fasting. Mahaprabhu came and knocked at the door, cook for me. So we see so many instances where Mahaprabhu followed the Varnashram. Externally, he gave more importance to Varnashram. Many places, like he didn't give audiences to Pratapadra Maharaja, Jagadananda Pandit. Sarvam Bhattacharya told you, please come to my house for the entire 30 days of prasadam. And then he had to keep on bargaining, and ultimately Mahaprabhu said that I will come for 3 days, 3 days, 5 days or something. I will just come for 4 or 5 days only. So in that sense, this Lord's eternal vow that although I don't have any duty to perform, I perform the duties according to the role I take. And then Krishna says that Utsideyu Rimeloka na kuryam karma chedakam sankarasya cha kartasyam upaganyam ima prajaha. I, incarnating in the clan of Venerable Vasudeva, if I do not perform the karmas ordained for my clan, the people in this world who imitate my conduct will also abandon their duties. And that way they will become the sinners. I would become the cause of intermingling of the duties. When they stop performing the duties, then somebody else who is not qualified, they will have to perform those duties. Then there will be mixture of the duties. Varna Sankara. Sankara means mixture. So I will be the cause of mixture of the duties. When the Kshatriyas stop performing the duties, then somebody else has to perform the Kshatriya duties. Those who are not Kshatriya, they will have to perform. And then there will be so much of intermixture. So in that way, I would be ruining the lives of the people. So when we ask the question, okay, if you stop performing the duties, will the people not understand the Shastra on their own? What is the need that you have to perform the duty? They will understand the Shastra on their own. Or if they start performing their karmas, what is the issue? They will start performing Jnana Yoga. So Krishna says that no. If they stop performing their duties, because they are not qualified for Jnana Yoga, without having the qualification when they give up their duties, then they will not be able to attain Atma Sakshatkara. They will not be able to attain the goal of Atma Jnana Yoga. They will only perform sins and they will attain Naraka. And what about, will the people not be able to understand the Shastra on their own? Father Krishna says there are many Shastras are there. It is difficult to study all the Shastras for a common person. We mainly understand Dharma mainly by seeing the conduct of the great Acharyas. In our own practical this one, it's not that when we began practicing Bhakti, initially it is not that everything we, after seeing the Shastra only, we started doing. We developed faith, we developed trust in certain devotees, and then the way they were doing, we started performing that. So therefore, Krishna is emphasizing that. So we see that same way Prabhupada writes in the purport in 4th canto, 22nd chapter, in Prutu Maharaj section. Prabhupada says the devotees in the Krishna consciousness movement, they should be examples for Bhakti Yoga and Karma Yoga. They should be examples for Bhakti Yoga and Karma Yoga. Because they should teach the people how to perform Bhakti Yoga, we understand. Devotees should also be examples for Karma Yoga. They should teach the people how to perform the karmas as a worship of Krishna. Because when somebody may be in a higher platform, but is he willing to come down to the lower platform for the sake of the others? That is a greater quality than simply we remain in the higher platform. So, like Priyavrata Maharaj, he was a Mahabhagavata devotee, but he came down to the Madhyamadikari platform for the sake of, he took up the responsibility of a king for the sake of the service to the Lord, to the service to the society. So we have many examples of how those who are on the higher platform of Bhakti Yoga or Jnana Yoga, but they acted on the platform of Karma Yoga for the sake of the Loka Sangraha, and Krishna is teaching by his example.
This second chapter?
4th canto, 22nd chapter, purport is there. So,
when Krishna is speaking to Arjuna, then it appears that in Bhagavad Gita, it appears that he is giving the position of karma better than jnana. But when the same Krishna, in the same period of time, he is speaking to the Uddhava in Uddhav Gita, then he is giving the position of jnana better than karma.
so one is that Jnana Yoga, it is not that one should not perform. Because one is first of all, both Krishna and Uddhava Gita and Bhagavad Gita, the main subject is Bhakti Yoga. It is Bhakti Yoga. But as you mentioned, in the case of Arjuna, Krishna wanted Arjuna to perform the battle, not to go to the forest. But Krishna told Uddhava, you go to the, he clearly told Uddhava that you take the tree bark, you go to the forest, you have to live by eating fruits and roots. So depending, therefore, in preaching, understanding the situation of a person, bhakti is to be preached for everyone. But even in bhakti, understanding the situation of the person, whatever is the conducive situation for that person, accordingly one should preach. Accordingly we should preach. So then next to shloka.
Hare Krishna says, I am the Dharmasya Bhakta Karta and also Raksha.
Anamodit.
Same question was asked by Parikshit Maharaj. Sir, Katham Dharmasya Bhakta Karta Dharma Shetuna. He is the protector of religion, he is performer of religion, he is speaker of religion. Still, why he broke the religious principles? Parikshit Maharaj asked Sukadeva Goswami. Sukadeva Maharaj said that the greatest people can break, there is no fault in that. But here Krishna very boldly saying that I am the follower of Dharma, I follow Dharma and I don't break it, otherwise I will be the cause. And same thing in Gita also Krishna said that Utsidayuri Meloka. If I do not perform, the people will go to hell because of me. So, but in reality, when Krishna does pastime of this Vrindavan, it really affects the Kali Yuga people, no? To negatively, some extent.
See, that also we can see in this. Krishna is demonstrating dharma, and among the dharma, the highest dharma is Bhagavata dharma. So that also Krishna is the Bhagavata dharma, which is total Sharanagati to Bhagavan. That is demonstrated by Krishna in the Rasa Leela. In the sense that Rasa Leela can be, it's not a contradiction to these shlokas. Utsidayuri Meloka. So Krishna demonstrated the ordinary Varnashram dharmas in these chapters 69 and 70. Krishna demonstrated the highest Sharanagati dharma through the example of the gopis who performing Rasa Leela. That's also for the ultimate welfare of the living entity. The purpose of life is not simply keep performing the Varnashram dharma, but ultimately to completely surrender to Krishna. To demonstrate that highest dharma, Krishna enacted that pastime. And also sometimes the Supreme Lord, if he is all the time performing Varnashram dharma, the people may think that, oh, he is the ordinary human being only. So sometimes Krishna breaks the certain common rules in order to establish his supremacy. How even if I don't break the rules, I will not get affected. To establish his position as Supreme Lord, out of compassion for the common people, to understand, people can know that he is Supreme Lord. Shukdev Goswami says, Ityacharantam saddharman pavanan grihamedinam tameva sarvageheshu santamekam dadarshah.
Sukadeva Goswami said, thus in every palace, Narada saw the Lord in his same personal form, executing the transcendental principles of religion that purify those engaged in household affairs.
Krishnasyananta viryasya yogamaya mahodayam muhur drishtva rishirabhut vismito jata kautukah.
Having repeatedly seen the vast mystic display of Lord Krishna, whose power is unlimited, the sage was amazed and filled with wonder.
So here we see, so Krishna performed all these dharmas which are purifying, and when Narada Muni saw that all these things, Krishnasya Anantaviryasya Yogamaya Mahodayam, Anantaviryasya Krishnasya Yogamaya Mahodayam Muhuhu Drishtva, repeatedly seeing that Jata Kautukaha Rishihi Vismitaha Abhut. Narada was completely astonished. So Jiva Goswami quotes these two shlokas in the Bhagavad Sandarbha. We will discuss something from that. In the Bhagavad Sandarbha, Jiva Goswami says that how Krishna's form can manifest in innumerable places simultaneously. That's what we see in this chapter. Simultaneously, innumerable places his form is manifest. So, so here we see that Narada Muni was astonished. So why was Narada astonished? So somebody may say, oh, because Krishna had married 16,000 wives. But then, what is so surprising about that? In the current time, it may be very surprising, but at that time, There were many kings in the history, they had hundreds and even thousands of wives. Chitraketu had 1 crore wife. But then one may say that, but in the case of Krishna, the queens were in 16,000 different palaces. Therefore, Narada was surprised. No, but what is so wonderful about that? Because maybe Krishna was a king possessing many riches. Therefore, he was able to afford a single palace for each of his queens. That should not be surprising. And then one may say that, no, Krishna married all these queens with individual wedding ceremonies in each of these 16,000 palaces.
Correct.
That is surprising. But that should not be surprising. That could be managed by going from one palace to another palace. So what is so amazing about that? Again, one may give an answer. But then Krishna did precisely at the same moment, simultaneously married all those 16,000 queens at the same auspicious muhurta. Therefore, Narada was surprised. No. But then that should not be surprising because Krishna is the master of mystic power, Yogeshwara. There are many yogis also. They can also expand into many bodies called as Kaya Vyuha. And as like a Shaubari Muni expanded into 50 forms and married 50 queens simultaneously. So Krishna could also have expanded into 16,000 such Kaya Vyuhas to participate in these rituals, like an yogi. Narada Muni himself had many mystic powers. So therefore this should also not be surprising. Then the answer is given. No, Krishna did not expand into many different bodies. He married them all simultaneously in one body. That is what was surprising to Narada. But then again, doubt is raised. No, Krishna could have produced 32,000 hands, like in the Virata form, and he accepted 16,000 wives in 16,000 houses simultaneously. So Krishna he might have expanded, he might have produced so many 30,000 hands and then married all of them. Then in response to this also, no, it's not. Krishna did not produce 32,000 hands. Krishna did not manifest a Virata form. Krishna had a suitable form for each woman. At the same time, all these forms were one and the same form. So this is confirmed by the statements of Shukadeva Goswami in 10.59.42 and in 3.3.8. These two verses are quoted. Krishna had a suitable form for each woman. At the same time, they were all one and the same form. So this is what is called as a Prakasha manifestation of Krishna. It is different from the yogis where they expand into many forms. This is called a Prakasha manifestation. For example, the 41st shloka of this chapter is also quoted. In this way it is said that Devarshi Narada saw the same Krishna present in every palace, executing the various religious duties meant for the purification of married couples. Ityacharantam saddharman pavanan grihamedinam tam eva sarvagegeshu santam ekam dadarshaha. So tam eva and ekam, these words are emphasized by the Jiva Goswami. So he says that Narada Muni himself was a great mystic yogi. He could also perform many extraordinary miraculous feats. Narada Muni had the power to expand into Kaya Vyuha forms, which look exactly the same and perform identical movements. But if Krishna's expansions were also Kaya Vyuha, the Narada Muni would not have been amazed. We generally feel amazed when we see something new, some extraordinary object that has never been previously experienced. Shaubari Muni also expanded into 50 forms. So Krishna's 16,000 forms were not this kind of Kaya Vyuha expansions. His Prakasha forms could be seen acting differently in different places, but the Kaya Vyuha forms of Shaubari Muni and other powerful yogis have no such independent functioning capacity. But Krishna's these forms are called as a Prakasha forms. They were seen to act differently in different palaces. But at the same time, they were all one and one form only. One and one form, but they were seen to act differently in different palaces. So, what is the definition of a Prakasha? Prakasha is explained by Rupa Goswami in the Laghu Bhagavatamrita. He says that what is the definition of Prakasha? Anekatra prakatata rupasyaikasya yaikada sarvata tat swarupaiva sa prakasha itiryate. That means what? The appearance of a single form in many places at the same time, but which is in all respects the same essential form of the Lord, is called Prakasha. In all respects the same essential Swarupa of the Lord is called Prakasha. This is the difference between the Lord's Prakasha and the forms that appear different. The Narayana forms, they appear different. But these forms, they appear identical to the Swayam Rupa form of Krishna. And each form is independent. At the same time, all the forms are one only. There is only one person. That how can it be possible? That by the Achintya Shakti. So the Narada Muni, therefore Narada Muni would not have been surprised simply by seeing the expansions, because he himself had mystic service, many yogis had. So this is the Prakasha manifestations of Krishna. By seeing that, Narada was surprised. And then the next Anucheda also, Jiva Goswami quotes these two shlokas, 41-42. He says that the words Eka and Santa are very significant. Eka implies that although Narada saw the Lord in numerous palaces performing different activities, he understood him to be one and the same person. Someone may think that as Narada travelled from one palace to another, the Lord arranged to quickly reach there before him. This doubt is dispelled by the word Santa, while existing, which means that Narada understood that one Krishna was existing in all the houses simultaneously. It's not that before Narada reached, Krishna went to other places. No, Krishna was there in the previous palace also simultaneously, and the new palace also was there, and other palace also was simultaneously there. And the word Eva indicates that it was Sri Krishna and not any of his plenary expansions. It was the Swayam Rupa form of Krishna. Thus they were Prakasha manifestations, as described at the end of the previous section. So on the Rasa Leela also Krishna manifests his Prakasha manifestation. Here in the Dwaraka also. So therefore, so these forms were not Kaya Vyuha forms like the ones manifested by the yogis. And then Jiva Goswami also quotes another verse from the Bhishma Dev's last prayer. Bhishma Dev also realized the same thing which Narada realized. Bhishma Dev also realized that. The last prayer, Tam imam aham ajam sharira vajam hridi dishtita atma kalpitanam प्रतिदृशमिव नैकदार्कमेकं समधिगतोऽस्मि विदूतभेदमोहः. Viduta Bhishma Dev is saying that now I have realized there are two realizations. Bhishma Dev could understand the Paramatma present in every person's body is the same person. Bhishma Dev could understand Krishna and the Paramatma are the same person. And another realization is that Bhishma Dev actually saw, he saw that Krishna himself is present as the Paramatma in every person's heart. Bhishma Dev didn't even see the four-handed form of the Vishnu as a Paramatma. Krishna saw that, Bhishma Dev saw the same Krishna present as the Paramatma in everyone's heart. At the same time, the person is only one. There is one person only. So Bhishma Dev, that's a Viduta Beda Moha means now all my illusions have been dispelled. Just like Naikadarkam Ekam, just like one sun is perceived by many different people, similarly that one Krishna, I am able to perceive that the same Krishna is present as the Paramatma in everyone's heart. So that verse is also quoted by the Acharyas in this verse purport also, in this Bhagavad Sandarbha Anucheda also, in reference to this is quoted.
Which number?
Bhagavad Sandarbha Anucheda 42, 43 and 44.
Vidyuta Bheda Moha. It could be like misunderstood in the way that Bheda Moha. It could be misunderstood like that he understood that now there is no difference between him and Paramatma, and everywhere is Paramatma. Sarvam Khalidam Brahma, there is no other existence other than Brahman or other than the Lord.
We have to see the other words in the shloka. Tam imam aham ajam. He is saying this Krishna, tam imam aham ajam sharira bhajam, situated in every person's heart. Hridi dishtita atma kalpitana, who is situated in every person's heart, within the body of every living entity, who has created his own body according to his karma. Atma kalpitana. Pratik drisham iva naikadarkam ekam. He is giving an analogy. It's like there is only one sun, but different people in this world, they perceive that sun noonday, evening, morning. But there is only one sun. So samadhi gatosmi, now I am able to perceive that same fact. The same Krishna is present as the Paramatma in everyone's heart. After all my dispelled illusions have been dispelled. Viduta Veda Moha. So that verse is also noted.
What Veda is Vidyuta?
Viduta, like some Prabhupada also in the purport, he says that sometimes people say that Vrindavan Krishna is different, Dwaraka Krishna is different. The Krishna in the Paramatma, Krishna who is there as a Paramatma, they are different personalities. That kind of Veda.
That Veda is
That is described.
Like the term when Krishna expanded himself is Prakasha, and Narayan and other, there are so many Narayans in Vaikuntha. So for them, what is the term?
They are not Prakasha because Narayana is a four-handed form. A Prakasha, the definition Prakasha is that the Swayam Rupa form of Krishna, the same form is present simultaneously in different places. That is the Prakasha. The Narayana forms are also simultaneously present. Narayana form is not a Swayam Rupa, it is a Vilasa Vigraha of Krishna.
Vilasi. So the question is like when the other yogis, mystic yogis, they expand themselves into different forms. The forms are same, one thing. And it is not that when one form is like raising his hand, another form is also raising his hand. They are also individually can do different things. Like Sobari Muni, he also got married with 50 princess. So of course he was doing individually varieties of work. So then what is that?
There seems to be subtle difference. So very distinctly mentioned, what I can perceive is that when the person expands, the Shaubari Muni mystics, when they expand it to many forms, the different forms, they don't have independence. They don't have independence, but here the different forms of Prakasha manifestations of Krishna, they have independence. At the same time, there is only one person.
Means for the mystic ages, the other form, expanded form, they are dependent on the original form.
Something like
But for Krishna's case, all are original only.
that.
Is it the main?
Yeah.
And another thing is the Prabhuji, like for what you are mentioning for Paramatma, then it is the same case for Paramatma also. Paramatma is the same, and in everyone's heart, it is the same Paramatma, and we cannot say that this Paramatma is original, and no form in everyone's heart there is Paramatma. No one is dependent on another form of Paramatma. So now how will differentiate this Paramatma expansion and Krishna's Prakash expansion?
Paramatma, the identity of question.
Like for yogis, you told that other forms are dependent, the expanded forms are dependent, and there is no independence. But for Krishna's Prakasha forms, they all are independent. So for Paramatma, so what is the difference when all the forms in everyone's heart, the Paramatma forms are same only?
Why they are not Prakasha?
Can I
what?
comment? Can I comment on this?
They are also Prakasha manifestation.
Prakasha.
Prakasha manifestation with respect to the four-handed form.
It is the Prakasha expansion of Kiradashaya Vishnu. And it is the Prakasha expansion of
Swayam Rupa Krishna. Narada Muni saw the Prakasha manifestations of the Swayam Rupa Krishna.
Prabhuji wants to add something.
Bhishma Dev also he saw the same form of Krishna as a Paramatma in everyone's heart. That is a special vision of provided to Bhishma.
I'm asking that what is difference between Paramatma expansion and Krishna's expansion? What I understand, Paramatma expansion remains neutral, but Krishna expansion is Rasa is testing the mellows of his associates. In every house he is testing different rasas, whereas Paramatma is not doing that, not interacting with the jivas. It's witness.
In Chaitanya Chaitanya Adilila, there is description of Lilas, Vidya, Bhaka, Vidya, categories.
Yes. We will just complete this chapter. Already beyond the last three shlokas, we will just go through it. We are 43, na?
43.
इत्यर्थ काम धर्मेषु कृष्णेन श्रद्धितात्मना सम्यक् सभाजित प्रीतस् तमेकानुस्मरण्ययौ.
Lord Krishna greatly honored Narada, faithfully presenting him with gifts related to economic prosperity, sense gratification, and religious duties. Thus, fully satisfied, the sage departed, constantly remembering the Lord.
So, Krishna gave different gifts to Narada. The next shloka. एवं मनुष्य पदवी मनुवर्तमानो नारायणो किल भवाय गृहीत शक्तिः मेनेंग षोडश सहस्रवरांगणानां सव्रीड सौहृद निरीक्षण हास जुष्टः.
In this way, Lord Narayana imitated the ways of ordinary humans, manifesting his divine potencies for the benefit of all beings. Thus he enjoyed, dear king, in the company of his 16,000 exalted consorts, who served the Lord with their shy, affectionate glances and laughter.
So the qualities of the queens are mentioned. Savrida, Sauhrida, Nirikshana, Hasa Jushtah. With these 16,000 queens, Manushya Padavim Anuvartamanu, imitating the human conduct. Akhila Bhavaya, this is the important word, for the welfare of the entire world. Krishna acted like that. And then there is a Falastuti. Yaniha Vishwa Vilayodbhava Vritti Hetuhu Karmanyananya Vishayani Harishchakara Yastvanga Gayati Shrinotyanumodhateva Bhaktim Labheta Bhagavatyapavarga Marge.
Lord Hari is the ultimate cause of universal creation, maintenance and destruction. My dear king, anyone who chants about, hears about or simply appreciates the extraordinary activities he performed in this world, which are impossible to imitate, will surely develop devotion for the Supreme Lord, the bestower of liberation.
So we see that Falastuti. Vishwa Vilayodbhava Vritti Hetu, one with the cause of creation, maintenance and destruction. Harihi Iha Yani Ananta Vishayani Chakara Tani Yetu Gayati Shrunoti Va Anumodate Apavarga Marge Bhagavati Bhaktim Labheta. One who hears chants and remembers these activities, one will get Bhakti in the path of Apavarga. This way this chapter ends. So we'll end here. Tomorrow we'll begin those. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.